Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, November 2nd. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you are somebody that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just new to charts, want to learn more about them and how they can help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. Very quickly before I get started, just keep in the back of your mind that I am offering this free live online class later on in the week. So I want to personally invite you to get signed up for it if you're enjoying what you see. So if you do want to learn more about charts, technical analysis, and how they can be used as a tool to build consistency as a trader, then definitely get signed up. There's a link down below in the description box if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're watching at my site, then somewhere right there on the webpage, there's going to be an area for you to click on to get signed up. So just keep that in the back of your mind. And if you're liking what you see, then yeah, definitely get signed up. First off, before we get to any of the stocks, a couple quick, just upfront disclaimers here so to keep everybody on the same page. What I'll be looking at is the 30-minute time frame. So in other words, if you're new to all this, each one of these candlesticks, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. And then also the market is still open for a little bit. So this most recent candle right here will still be moving. But I like to do this just so we can kind of sometimes capture some really interesting and fun action live on video. But the day is close enough to being over where what I talk about from more of the broad sense is still going to be applicable here moving forward. So first off, OCGN did this one last week, and that red line down there was considered an area of resistance. So you can see today, got a very nice breakout from that level. So certainly updates need to be done. First thing I'm going to do now is actually just delete these lines out of here. They have served their purpose for now and don't want to risk causing confusion because there's lines and clutter everywhere you look. So let's try to keep this as clean as possible. So the newest areas of support and what I would call the ideal level is this former breakout area right here around $13.15. Now, don't get me wrong. If the price falls below $13.15, that doesn't mean the entire chart's epically destroyed or anything like that. But if the price could manage to somehow actually stay above that area, that would certainly be a very impressive sign of power. So keep an eye on that. But from the overarching standpoint, it's all about that purple line right there on my chart denoting the very famous 50-period moving average. As the name implies, that line is going to move itself higher and higher. So it's basically like a trend line that's going to draw itself for you. So a point here being from the overall sense, as long as the price does stay above the trend line, as the trend line itself moves higher and higher, then the bulls are in full control of the overall trend. As far as levels of resistance are concerned, nothing fancy or complicated here at all. The party momentum stopped today right up there at $14.50. So that'll be the main breakout area going forward. But as far as the overarching trend is concerned, it really doesn't get any more prettier looking than that. Next one, ticker symbol BTTX. And what I like about this one is today it showed the ability to move and move very quickly. And this was all occurring on a whole lot of volume. So in other words, there's going to be a lot of eyeballs still watching this one into Tuesday. And the other interesting dynamic here is the price has pulled back. Now, to be fair, maybe this is the start of a much bigger move lower, but that's why risk management systems exist and why you should be practicing risk control. But that's a two-sided coin because maybe this isn't the start of something much bigger downwards. Maybe this is just a healthy pullback that's ultimately going to result in a bigger move to the upside. So for those of you that like to play pullbacks, then I would assume that you would want to have this one on your watch list because, like I said, demonstrated big momentum, is pulling back. So the one pullback area to keep an eye on moving forward is going to be right there at about $16.75. So that would be one interesting area. Now, if the price goes down to $16.75 and this crashes through there, at that point, I'm not going to say the chart's destroyed, but I would say that, okay, at that point, things are looking pretty shaky. And, while I'm not saying that there still wouldn't be more opportunities, as far as, quote unquote, playing the pullback, at that point, in my mind, things kind of start to, go away and aren't really there anymore. But as of now, the price is still, what I would argue is just going through a healthy pullback. As far as, okay, well, I don't want to buy a pullback. I like to start to see some signs of strength first. Well, from that angle, the level that stands out to me is that trend line right there. So I'm not saying anything's guaranteed because those don't exist. As far as is it plausible to think that if the price stops pulling back, works its way up to that trend line and then gets a break up through it, that break could create some additional momentum. That's absolutely a plausible thought process to go through. But at the core, the key dynamics are there. Big volume, the ability to show very quick movement, not just a question of is this a healthy consolidation or not. Let's see what the next couple of days bring. Next one here, ticker symbol AMC. And after a crazy, crazy day on Friday, really the craziness continues because when you stop and think about the fact just how crazy it was on Friday with a big move up, big move down, and now all of a sudden, very nice movement back to the upside. And the big dynamic here was the price is finally being able to break above and stay above this 35.75 mark, which brings about the first key update, which is just based on a foundational principle in charting, which states when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support, especially in this situation. Why is it so important in this situation? And I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, but just for explanation purposes, if the price were to come back down to 35.75 and drop back below it, what would that be doing to the price? That would quite literally be putting the price, well, right back inside of that range that it just broke out of today. And I mean, not to insult your intelligence, but price movements that go back to where they were, not exactly a sign of true power, true strength. Again, not saying that's what's going to happen, but that is why, in my opinion, at least 35.75, very important level. In terms of areas of resistance, at this point, it's all about that resistance trend line right there, which you can see now has quite the track record of being a very, very annoying level, both there and there. But if the price can work its way up there and get the breakout through there, it's more than plausible to think that that breakout could very well create some additional momentum and upside buying pressure. But all in all, very, very nice start to the week. Next one, BKKT, and we had ourselves another big movement on this one from a trend building perspective, price putting in higher highs and higher lows, and that's the name of the game. Now, there is some perspective that goes into it, meaning if you're a day trader and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 7 minutes, well then, yeah, from that perspective, the chart looks terrible. But from the overarching standpoint, again, assuming you care about the big picture of things, yeah, it pulled back, but the overall trend is still plenty strong. In fact, this update here, like I just did on AMC, when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. In fact, let me just get that level out there. So moving forward, that ideal level right there at 37.50, as I mentioned previously, ideal meaning, yeah, that would make the chart look the best, but by no means is it some required level to hold. But from more of the overarching standpoint, we go right back to that purple line there, the 50-period moving average. And we have a perfect example of why that level is important. Check that out. Beautiful, beautiful bounce off of that area right there. So even though it is pulling back, I mean, this is not the first pullback, right? That pullback has occurred. Then it got the nice bounce off that area. So again, preferably speaking, the price stays above 37.50. But if the price doesn't hold above there, then you still do have that moving average right there. As far as areas of resistance are concerned, if there's going to be any sort of attempted recovery back to the upside, the level right there at $45 seems like that first initial area of resistance. So keep a close eye on that. But again, assuming you do care about the big picture of things, the overall trend is still fully in play. Next one, FCEL, and the breakout just continues. Actually, the breakout occurred back on Friday, which you can see here, the price getting up above that red line there. But then today, in technical jargon, just got that much more continuation. So in other words, there's definitely a lot of updates here that need to be done. Going to go ahead and just get rid of those lines there as they serve their purpose for now. As far as areas to watch now moving forward, first key level to watch, especially for you pullback players, going to be right there around that $9 mark. And $9, once again, that ideal level. What's going to make this chart look the absolute strongest? Certainly if the price can stay above $9. And then, of course, you have that moving average right there, which seems irrelevant right now. But remember, that's a moving average. So as time goes by, that line is going to move itself higher and higher and get more and more relevant as time passes. As for the fun stuff, let's figure out where some of these next key battlegrounds are at and levels of resistance. And I guess I didn't need to go back that far. But the next key overall level to watch very, very closely, going to be right up there at the $10 mark. You can see, if you look closely, but right there, $10 presented a problem. Nice move to the upside. Once again, $10 presented a problem. So, I mean, I'm not saying that $10 is going to present a problem again because there are no guarantees. But is it logical? Is it plausible to think that, yeah, $10 is probably going to be relatively stubborn? Yeah, that's absolutely a logical thought to have. So it'll be interesting to see how the price behaves if it can get up to that area. But all in all, the upwards movement and momentum continues. Next one, NIO, and not a whole lot to report as far as, new levels to talk about. These red lines, which I've talked about in past videos, are still 100% relevant. You have that first key level of resistance right there at $41, and then the next level up there right around $41.75. But the reason why, and the big dynamic here that occurred is, a very impressive day. When you stop and think about the fact that the price gapped down all the way down there, that was not a good start at all. That was, quite frankly, a terrible start. However, that was just the start, because when you look at what happened from there and the price just working its way all the way back up there, that makes for a very interesting chart, because that was an extremely impressive recovery from what started off and what was looking like, this is going to be a terrible day. So that just brings about the more than valid question of, okay, great move. Is there more momentum to come? Well, let's see how it behaves around each of these levels of resistance. But like I said, not a whole lot of new things to talk about other than the fact of, a terrible start, but a very, very impressive day afterwards. Next one, LCID, and not like NIO, not a whole lot of new things to talk about, but other than the fact of, these general areas are certainly still going to be very, very relevant, but I do want to add in a couple more things. The first dynamic here is I just want to make an adjustment and adjust this area of resistance right up there to that $40 mark. And one note there, whenever levels of resistance need to be adjusted in the upwards direction, that's a good thing. That is a very bullish sign, and that's definitely what needs to be done today now that we have more data and information from the chart. So $40, I would argue now, is that new key overarching level, which again did require me to adjust that level upwards. And then as far as levels of support are concerned, I'm going to go ahead and adjust this area of support right up there to that level at 35.35. Again, notice the direction. I had to adjust that level of support upwards, which again is a very bullish sign. But you can see just right here, many times now the price is, bounced right around that area. Then not that far below, you also have the purple line, which now you are very familiar with, is that 50-period moving average. So overall, yeah, today disappointing. It did gap up and came back down, but that's just assuming that you're some sort of day trader that bought right there. Assuming you care about the big picture of things, the price is still consolidating very nicely at a higher area. So let's see how this continues to play out. Next one, PLLG, and the uptrend continues. And this will mean a little bit more to those of you that watch past videos, but, talked about that level of resistance right there and how it had been just such a stubborn area over and over again. But today got the breakout from there, and it's just continued to move very, very nicely. So updates certainly need to be done. So let's get rid of all these lines if they serve their purpose for now. For those of you that like to play pullbacks, key level of support to watch with any sort of pullback, going to be right down there around the $40 mark, and that's, again, that ideal level that's going to make the chart, the overall chart, look as, good looking as possible. But from the overall standpoint, right there, purple line, 50-period moving average, you get the idea. From the overall standpoint, as long as the price is above that level, then that is by far what matters most. In terms of areas of resistance, again, going to have to go back quite a bit of ways. Oh, well, this is a good problem to have. So let's actually change over to the daily time frame. Oh, and even that's required. So in other words, it's been a long time since the price went up this high. There we go. So we were going back here to March. So literally several months ago to figure out some of these next areas of resistance, with the next key overall level being right up there around $44. Let's call it $45 actually. Let me double check that. Yeah, $45.15. So right around 45 going to be that next key overarching level. But anyway, look at it. Crazy move when you stop and think about the fact that not that long ago the thing was at 24, and now the price is already up there and continuing to start off the month strong. So let's see how the rest of this week continues to play out. Next one, AMD. And AMD, same general idea as NIO. NIO is that one that started off really bad. Same thing here. Gap down. After the gap down, the price dropped all the way down to that point. And at that point, after the gap down, price dropping, not looking very good at all. But that was just the start. Now you look at it and look at that recovery. Not only did it go back up to where, it had started, but it just kept going and going and going. So in other words, it is a more than plausible and valid question to be thrown out there and saying, wow, a lot of momentum has shown up. Is this momentum? Is this, going to continue on into the next few days? Obviously no way to know that for sure, but there is a way to know if you should be asking those questions, and the way to know that is just to, observe the action that happened today. And the other interesting dynamic here is that there is this overall trend line right there, which the price has now broken up through. So in other words, not only did the price recover all the way from down there, it also broke the trend line. So a lot of strength today. So again, does that guarantee that the thing is going to keep on moving upwards? Of course not. But is it plausible? Is it valid to think that there's a chance that this thing could just continue to break out moving forward? Yeah, it absolutely is. So watch that dynamic there. Next key overarching. In fact, let me just do that. I'll get rid of that trend line as it served its purpose just to illustrate the fact here that was a resistance trend line. But the next key overarching area of resistance now going to be right up there around the 127 mark. But all in all, very impressive day. Next one, TSLA Tesla. I don't even know if it's worth continuing to do this one because it feels like every video I just say the same things, higher high and higher lows. But I do know many of you care about Tesla, so I'll keep things updated. But and I say that jokingly. But yeah, once again, higher highs and higher lows. The uptrend continues. So let's just get these levels out of here as they serve their purpose for now. As far as some of the next levels to keep an eye on moving forward, right there, that key level of support in my mind at 1162. That'll be a very interesting level, as that's the area that ultimately supported the price when it finally did decide to pull back. And you can see a couple different data points right around that area, so keep an eye on that. But as has been the theme with this top 10, a lot of the same setups out there, that's just the ideal level. So if the price were to come down there and break through it, doesn't mean everything's ruined, but if the price can continue to stay above there, that would be a very impressive sign of strength. But from the overarching standpoint, you know what I'm going to say next. Just continue to watch that purple line there, the 50-period moving average. And as it moves up, as long as the price stays above it, that's what you want to see. In terms of levels of resistance, I mean, literally the only thing you can do is say, well, where did it stop going up today? Because these are at all-time highs right now. So right around 1192, although what I'm going to do is actually adjust that up to the 1200 mark, just because 1200, big round number, so I'd expect that to act as a pretty stubborn level of resistance. But then again, it is Tesla, so maybe it'll go up through there like a warm knife through butter. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. But the moral of the story is this: the uptrend on Tesla continues. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you liked what you saw, if you want to learn more about this tool of technical analysis and how it can help you make good decisions, how it can help you build consistency, then I want you to get signed up for the class that I'm offering. Like I said, it'll be this Thursday, November 4th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So get signed up for it. And if you enjoy these top 10 videos and would like for me to continue to make these, then please communicate that to me, because these do take a good amount of time and effort. And I'm willing to continue to do them as long as I know that you're enjoying. So if you are enjoying, finding them helpful, hit that like button, leave a basic comment, even if it's just saying hi, a ticker symbol that you traded today. But those two things, hitting the like button, leaving a comment, go a long way in communicating that you enjoy these videos. And like I said, as long as I know that people are enjoying, I will continue to do them. And again, if you like what you saw here and you want to start to learn how to use charts to build consistency, definitely get signed up for the class. Everybody take care. Have a good one.